What's going on, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. BobbyFi and Eric Sheetaber, we're going to be talking through this Thanksgiving Day 3-game slate. And it's an interesting one. I don't have I don't have anything to lead off with right off the bat. But Sheets, anything you want to, we're still waiting on a few things. I guess that's something. But anything you want to jump into before we.
What are we waiting on?
Well, there's still a few Q tags, like Amon-Ra is still questionable officially.
He's playing.
Montgomery, I assume he's playing, but I don't feel as sure of it.
Okay.
I'm kind of waiting on that one because he did get knocked out of the last game, and we still don't know what's happening with officially. I don't know. I'm seeing multiple things that are still questioning whether DeVito's actually going to start. Is that for real?
No,
I don't think so either. But I just wanted to double check because I felt like I missed something this morning. I was looking at different projection sites, and they had DeVito as in, and I was like,
oh really?
But I think it was a mistake. I really do. I just think it was people haven't updated, and it's probably just Thanksgiving.
Well, no, that's interesting because I had lock in everything this morning. David Montgomery, by the way, is active.
Oh, he is officially active. Okay, good to know.
David Montgomery is active, and
where did I not see that? Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
And the injury report's coming out in 10 minutes anyway.
So is it Amon-Ra? Literally as we came on, that's when I've got the update at exactly 11 a.m. Eastern. So.
And Amon-Ra's playing too?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
So how do you go through it? Go ahead.
So what I did, so now first of all, there's a lot of different types of contests today. And that's something worth mentioning. For those of you who are, big ballers, I mean, there's like a big 4-4-4-4, okay, which I'm not playing. Which tests a completely different, set of skills, right? Like it's not going to be that many people in that. And then on the other hand, there's probably going to be nothing but strong players in that. And then there's this other thing, this Millie Maker, that's a $5 entry fee, okay?
Yep.
Is going to have everybody on the face of the earth playing it, very, very weak overall tournament. Now, again, the structure is kind of crappy, but whatever. So what you have to do in that is just, I think, a little bit different. And I think that you could, to beat also 500,000 people or whatever, you have to get somewhat different. And whether you do that kind of instinctively of how you do your builds or whether you do Saber Sim or other optimizers to do settings, you have to really, I think today, focus on what tournament you're playing. Like, for example, like in the $5, I did all kinds of stuff. Like now, what I didn't do is, and I thought about this, I did not intentionally leave money on the table, but I would certainly not blame anybody if they did that. Okay, I really went back and forth on that one, on whether I was going to do it. But you know what happened, Bobby? I got to so many of those organically anyway,
right?
That I didn't really feel as though I needed to do it. What I did do is I did some dupe stuff. I forced in some low ownership stuff, and not to get too into all the details of that, but I really tried my best to get different. And to that point, I am significantly under on the Rico Dowdle as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have 13% of Rico Dowdle, and that, on a short slate, that might be all you need to at least get you going, in the right direction.
Right.
So that's just kind of, listen, wasn't my opinion on it or anything like that. But an interesting little pivot that conforms to that really nicely is I have a full 50% of Tyrone Tracy. So I like that I did that, and I like that I got to that. I mean, I'd like to say I didn't on purpose, but I didn't. But I like that result. So that's my main, I guess, source of leverage is instead of playing the game script that the Giants get roasted and Rico Dowdle gets all the work and he's 60% owned and you're supposed to just jam him or whatever. I just kind of went the opposite way, and I went that the Giants actually could do a better job, and Tyrone Tracy's pretty good, and I get him 50% owned. So that's my main, I guess, construction take that I kind of went with.
Yeah, it's interesting because I totally get that. It's really hard to find ways to get different, and I'm trying to find some unique style. But I do think that naturally I ended up leaving money on the table as well. So I was a little, it just happened naturally. Sorry, I got a lot of family stuff going on today, so I should have turned my thing off. But my bad about that. But yeah, so that's I guess my biggest thing is I'm having trouble. I think like there's playing the Packers receivers that are not named. I guess even Jaden Reed is getting lower than I would have thought. That's something else that occurred to me that you could do a little bit different today. But I guess that I was trying to find more ways to get different, and I was not getting there naturally very often. And I was curious if you had any big, big difference of any player. Like, is there anybody sub 10% that you've got 20% of? Because I'm not getting much of that right now.
Well, let me sort, I guess, by leverage here and see what I'm getting. Hold on, let's see something. I'm just talking about the Millie Maker here. Exposure, leverage. Okay, so if I sort by leverage, not really. Sort of like what you said. I mean, I'm getting that Wan'Dale Robinson, is that low owned? I mean, that's the best I can do. It's like 30% Wan'Dale Robinson, I guess. But aside from that, I mean, everybody's gonna get played, right? I mean,
yeah, I just think it's possible.
Theo Johnson, 16% of that. I mean, what are you doing? Are you playing any of a decent amount of the Schoonmaker? Maybe.
Yeah. But I think he's going to be pretty popular.
Oh, I only have him at 10% projected. Okay.
It is weird that he's not a little bit higher. Maybe it's because they did hike his price up pretty decently. But yeah, I like the idea of getting overweight that play. That's one. I'm at 17% right now.
Yeah, so I don't see. I mean, listen, there's going to be somebody we don't know about that like goes off, and maybe like Brandon Cooks gets 3 touchdowns or something like that. But aside from that, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I'm not getting too much. Like really off the board stuff. Let's get to construction again for a second. Now, I presume you have no problem with this. The like playing the double running backs for Detroit since they're both in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm totally good with that on this slate. On FanDuel, are you playing much on FanDuel?
I'm just playing the main, but apparently like Drew Lock is kind of is. Was it on Showdown? He's like the minimum or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm not playing Showdown FanDuel today, but I remember somebody mentioning that Drew Lock on FanDuel is particularly cheap.
Yeah, and Dowdle I think is a more difficult fade on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings, just because he's so cheap over there.
Let me see what I have over there. What's his price over there?
61.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm getting, well, I mean, I guess I'm with the field. I have 49% Dowdle over there. But once again, I got a whole bunch of the Tyrone Tracy. So we'll just see how that turns out.
Yeah.
I like Jonnu Smith. By the way, what's the weather like going to be there in Green Bay?
It's sub 40 degrees. Let me just double check the actual updated today weather. Give me 1 second here.
I mean, maybe it's like narrative or whatever, but I don't remember Miami being able to do anything in cold weather.
Tua has never won a game under 40 degrees, and he's 0-7. And it's,
as long as I've been alive, I don't remember Miami being able to put up points in the cold.
It feels like forever, right? Like I agree. But yeah, Tua especially has not gotten there. I mean, I feel like if this game was in Miami, this total would be like 52, and it's 47.
I remember Miami winning the snow game in Dallas when Leon Lett blew it, but that wasn't a high-scoring game.
No, that's right. Man, that guy had for a great player, he had 2 of the worst plays in football history.
Amazing, right?
Pretty bad, yeah. Let's see here. What do we got? By the way, so you want to hear something funny? So my dad doesn't play golf either. I just want to throw out my dad's story. He's like we're hitting a drive. He's hitting a driver, on a 200-yard par 3. And he literally hits this. He's like convinced himself he has this crazy slice. So he's playing like literally like the guy from Caddyshack, like where he's like playing, the crazy slice. And this thing goes, and he missed by like inches for having like a hole in one in his playing. Yeah, it was wild. I mean, with a driver and like literally it lined up perfectly. We're all watching in the air, and everybody sort of just shut up for a second, and it like almost went down, but it didn't quite make it. Anyway, it's pretty wild, but I thought that was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
He's loving it too. He's like now I think he's got like the golf bug.
Oh no!
I'm an expert at it. It's gonna ruin his life. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you, there is not. I mean, nothing more consuming than if you decide to actually take up golf.
Yeah,
it's just you just commit like nonstop to it. It's ridiculous. Right. I mean, if you're like OCD or type A or get compulsive at anything, and you decide to take up golf, just be very, very, cognizant that it will take over your life like immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell, and that's partly my fear. Probably why I haven't played more in my life.
Bobby, I mean, for my whole I was always like a tennis player, so I was never really played golf. Wait, it says expected to go with Drew Lock. Okay.
Yeah.
And so my whole life, my parents played, but I never played golf, whatever. But I always had a little bit of coordination, whatever. And then even my friends around when I got into my 30s, and they all play, and I'm like, golf is whatever. I don't want to play freaking golf. It's ridiculous. And then I went to a 40th birthday party down in Atlantic City. It was a golf thing, and then I said, I'll play, but obviously I'm like the worst, right? And then I made like one par somehow, and I did really, really well. I got like 110 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
But I made like one good shot, and then I'm like, I called Stacy up after. I'm like, I got bad news. She goes, what? I'm like, love golf, right? So for the next like year and a half, it was like nonstop, like learning and videos and lessons and going to the course and getting really good in like a year and a half. But it's a commitment. It's definitely a commitment
for sure. Absolutely. I can't even believe how everybody I know who starts doing it, it's just like you said, but it's like I never see them anymore. Every free moment of time they have, it's just they're all golfing.
Yep.
And they all do it together, and I feel a little left out. So I wanted to be able to get good. This is weird to me. I work out every day basically, and my body is like feeling all kinds of weird pains that it never felt.
Yep.
Like I don't know where it came from. I was like, what the hell, from one round of golf?
Jesus. No, because golf is literally the least healthy thing you can do for your body. I mean, like what that does to your back is just like beyond ridiculous.
That's what all the older people were saying yesterday. They were just saying the backs were just torn up.
Yeah.
But it was so fun to do with and it's like, you're driving and everybody's having drinks during the day. It just was a good time,
Yeah.
I get the appeal for sure.
Now let me just kind of like go over again what I did in Showdown again, like much more process than anything like that. I really did some funny stuff with sorting by ownership and sorting by dupes and all that stuff. So there's no way I could really repeat all that, but I will just at least go over like who I have as like a result of it. I'll go for all the games. I'm leaving money on the table in pretty much all of the showdowns. All the showdown slates. Let me just take a look. I'll just give you the captain stuff. Let me just see something. Wait. So in the Turkey Day, mostly receivers. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams are my top 2 owned captains over there.
Mm-hmm.
Goff is like down the list a little bit, and Caleb Williams is down the list. So I do always get to those. I like the receivers. So Amon-Ra and Jamison, and then Keenan Allen and some Jamar Gibbs. Those are my top owned. I don't have as much Adunze as the captain as I probably should.
I like
or like DJ Moore. Those guys can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's that. As far as flex in that one, nothing really off the board except this. Oh, that's not true. So I have like a full 40% Tim Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's cheap, right? I guess that's why I'm getting him.
Yeah.
A full 40% of that. And again, but the real key is I'm leaving probably an average of like 1,000 on the table in that showdown. Let me move ahead. Giants, because obviously we're not gonna be around. For Giants Cowboys showdown, if anybody again is interested, where is that? Same thing. Like it's my top 2 owned guys are the 2 receivers, like CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors, as far as captains. And then as far as flex, nothing particularly off the board. I would say. Okay. Wait. Exposure. Cooper Rush, Drew Lock. So nothing really. All right. Again, the way I got different there was just basically leaving money on the table. Miami, Green Bay later. As far as captains go, I imagine it's going to be the same thing. But let's just see. Captains in the showdown, the late one. No, it's actually a little different. I have A-Chain as my top captain over there, and then Jordan Love, and then Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill captain is interesting considering he hasn't scored more than 10 fantasy points all season. Pretty much.
It feels like a Tyreek. I feel like there's going to be a breakthrough at some point, and there's a lot of like I don't know. I hear you though. It does feel weird, but I like Hill today for what it's worth.
Yeah, you got to right.
Right.
And then again, same thing. I'm getting a whole bunch of Christian Watson. Is that right?
Yeah, I like the Christian Watson. It's a little bit of a. I mean, look, they're down Dobbs, and I think that it makes sense to play to be well above the field at him. I'm finding myself well above the field at him as well.
Oh, so this is my hoodoo, I guess. In my in the flex, I have 20% Bo Melton.
Bo Melton. Oh, yeah, I like that.
So
like
that's
that.
something.
Okay.
At 1,200. I mean, like you just said, they're short receivers, right?
Right.
So yeah, so I definitely like that. I guess I'm a little bit under on the Josh Jacobs, I suppose. But aside from that, I mean, again, like my theme for my showdown slates we're leaving money on the table. And again, just to be fully transparent, I played the played the afternoon slate also, starting the afternoon, and let me just find that. I imagine it's going to be similar. Probably, I hope to be lower on Dowdle in that as well. Let's just see. I do have Dowdle, by the way, in like the big buy-ins, but not in the
not in the lottery so much.
So A-Chain, Lamb. Oh, same thing. Look at Dowdle. Oh, so I only have 34% of him in the afternoon slate. That's going to be probably well below, I think. A-Chain is going to be really popular there, I think. But I have a bunch of that. Let me see. Oh, no, same thing. 70% Tyrone Tracy for me in that slate. Okay. So I'm down with the Tyrone Tracy today, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
I
think it makes enough sense, and I agree. I do think that the best way to get, one of the things I changed in my settings is that in terms of game stacks, I wanted to make sure I get like at least like 20% of that Dallas Giants game, just because it's going to be the lowest owned game.
Oh, sure.
By so far. So that's what I'm trying to do to get a little bit different. I also happen to particularly like the Chicago Detroit game, but that is no longer as it looked early in the week going to have any sort of low ownership whatsoever. But Goff and Caleb Williams are currently my highest owned quarterbacks, and I'm basically like trying to fade on Jordan Love and Tua. That's I guess what I'm doing. Which means also obviously they're pass catchers and et cetera. I just want to focus on where the ownership isn't. So that's how I'm trying to get different. And I did set my max, like it's so silly, but like I said it at 49.9. I have my minimum down to 46 today. I don't mind leaving money on the table and then just adjusting between slates. I think that's totally fine. I also think it's really good to get like the perception on Laporta, I think is that he's I guess I have like 45% of him and he's projected to be around 12 to 15% or depending on where you look. I guess that was my big differentiator for this particular slate. So and Christian Watson, as you mentioned, I have 40% of that also at expected 15% ownership.
So I will throw something else out there for you guys, and this is like totally random. I have a horse for you guys. Now I usually will put this in a Discord, but whatever. We'll reward the few people that are watching this. Like if you guys are interested. Now you got to remember, okay? So it's in like 4 hours. Okay, it's the 9th race at Churchill, and the name of the horse it's the 3 horse, and it's the 3 in race 9, and it's called, I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's Peignoir, I think. Peignoir. It's 10-1 morning line. I think it should be closer to maybe 3-1. So if you can get it above 5-1, I would definitely bet it. The probably the most likely winner in the race is the 4 Musical Mischief. But as far as value goes, Peignoir, the 3, race 9 at Churchill. If anybody remembers, you you're definitely going to get. Well, I shouldn't say definitely get an EV because if it goes off at 8-5, you won't. But if you get better than 5-1 on Pay Noir, then it's definitely worth betting.
Sign me up. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So is horse racing a big thing on Thanksgiving?
No.
Oh, it's not. I thought there was like
No.
Is there a holiday that does have a big one? No, not especially. Right?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know that there was horse racing today. That's why I couldn't tell.
Horse racing is not big like any day ever. I mean, like,
you say that, but I
except for the Breeders' Cup and the Triple Crown races, like literally nobody cares about horse racing.
Really, I feel like every time I go to the track, there's like a million people who are like so fired up to be there.
Well, because the times you go to the track are probably like big days, that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mostly only just go to the Del Mar one because it's the
right.
Nice
Del Mar's. That's like big racing.
Yeah. It's right by. It's not that far from me, so.
Del Mar's really far. It's like 3.5 hours.
Well, okay, it's far technically for me, but it's still like so. It was no, but I used to my ex who I used to live with, like her dad was obsessed and just for whatever reason, just literally obsessed with horse racing. So he would go like every week. So I spent some time down there back then.
Here we go. Race. I'm gonna put it in the Discord in case anybody sees.
Put it in there, yeah.
Race 9, the 3. Okay. And
I'm taking a quick look at anything else. There's obviously no NBA today. I kind of wish we had a little bit better football games. I know that I don't want to be greedy. It's Thanksgiving and all. I know we're supposed to be appreciative, but man, I kind of like other than this, like I guess Miami or Green Bay is a decent enough game, but like, man, it's usually I feel like we haven't had many great Thanksgiving Day games over the last few. Well, actually, over most of my life. I feel like they should go out of their way to try to really schedule the best games here, and I don't understand why they don't. But.
Well, it's always Detroit at home. It's always Dallas at home.
Yeah, great. Detroit's really good. Let's. I guess the Bears were supposed to be. So that was
it's always the Bears too, isn't it? I mean, like
it is sometimes, but they played. The Detroit's played Green Bay on
Vikings. The Vikings have played.
Was that? Yeah, that's true.
They played Minnesota.
Yeah, but can we get 4 then? How about 4 games? I don't know. I'm just bitching. I don't need to bitch anymore.
Oh, the best. We used to be the best. My favorite things about Thanksgiving was we had it was called the Uncle Larry system. Okay, so my Uncle Larry every year there was always 2 games. Well, there were 2 games that were very later on. They put in a late game, but everybody was gone by then, so it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. He always went 1-1, like literally every year. Okay, no matter what happened, he would go 1-1. And it was kind of charming for like a while, but then he completely went on tilt because all we would do is we would just all wait to see what would happen in the first game and just pound on whatever would make him 1-1. So like whenever he'd be 1-0, like we would all bet against him. It's like that's pretty much all for like 10 years. And for like 10 years in a row, it wasn't even like 1-0. And then it wasn't even like a random 1-1. He was literally 1-0, like maybe 7 years in a row. And then he's like, guys, seriously, don't bet against me. But we can't. You're going to be 1-1. You just can't. So it was like basically like Uncle Larry on tilt for like all of the second game of Thanksgiving.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, so now instead, like, again, it's whether, 41.2% Tyrone Tracy's going to get there or something like that. It's like
right.
But back in those days, it wasn't even a late pro game. What it is if you went 0-2 in the in the NFL, you had a chance to get out for the day by playing the Texas A&M game, which was always Thanksgiving night. That used to be the case.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yep.
That was not one I knew about. All right, let me just rebuild these things because this is looking ugly. So I can't get. Yeah, this is one of those situations where my minimum ROI thing is just showing up very, very poorly for me. But it is what it is. I'm willing to gamble a little bit on the football ones. I don't really have.
I'm gonna bet that the combination of a small slate and you forcing in stuff might be the reason for that.
That makes a lot of sense.
But don't be embarrassed to ping what's his name and ask him.
No. I want to spend some time with him on it at some point for sure. I don't want to hit him up on Thanksgiving. Did you get to? Can I ask you a question? Did you get to any Tim Patrick today? Probably in Showdown.
I just said I got 40% of him in the Showdown.
Oh, the Showdown, but you don't have like on the regular slate at all.
Well, let's see.
You don't really need it, but I just feel like maybe that's something to do to get different.
Let me just see if I'm getting in the Millie Maker, because I'm sure I wouldn't be getting him anywhere else.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
Let's see, Patrick. It does not look like it. No, I'm leaning 0.
Okay, I forced him in a little bit just because
I think that's a good idea. I mean, if I'm playing 150 in a $5, I probably should have some of it, but I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, but you have some pretty big stances otherwise, and also like after the first game. I mean, look, I do like the first game, but I think that I mean, this is obviously
no way that
if you're able to late swap.
No, wait, no, I lied. I was looking at the wrong contest. Yeah, I have 5% of him.
Okay.
There's just no way I don't have 5%.
Yeah, right. Wow, who's my highest right now? CeeDee Lamb. Ugh, I am a little too high on him.
So who's going to be the dude? Who's going to be the guy that wins everybody all the cheese? You know that we don't know about.
I think Laporta is my guy. It's low ownership. I mean, I'm just thinking of a low ownership guy. He's not that low owned, but he's pretty low owned. Who else we got here as in terms of low ownership that I think could do it?
How about 2 touchdowns for Darius Slayton, maybe?
DeAndre Swift, maybe.
Oh, reverse revenge. I like that.
Yeah, how about that? And then you said Darius Slayton.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
I'm just saying. I mean, listen, to win the million, you got to like be kooky birds. Who's the tight end?
But also, we've seen this guy go off when he wasn't supposed to at like 0 ownership twice this year already. Like maybe that's not a bad idea. I'm in on that Slayton idea.
And what about the
tight end is one?
Who's the tight end for the Giants?
Theo Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's logical though. Does Bellinger still play?
Logical. I don't think he's available today. Let me just double check.
What about Eric Gray or somebody like that for backup running back or something?
Oh, Bellinger is available actually as of right now. I'm seeing him with the 0.3.
Remember, it's just 2. It's not quite a showdown because it's 3 games, but it's not exactly a classic slate either. You know.
Yeah, and I can tell my horror story from 2 years ago when I literally, because the lineup was doing that, played one lineup in the 333 or whatever. It was like I think it was 250 that day for first place. And it was going too well. So it was a great start. I literally had the nuts in the first game. So I changed everything, of course. And I left the lineup in the lottery, which ended up coming in the 7th in the lottery. It would have won by like 20 points in the 333. And I just because I just thought it was doing too well. I got different enough already. I'm just going to go with the chalk later on. And it was a huge mistake.
Nah, not him. Just trying to look at when's
Tolbert's an interesting call from some of these. Tolbert's another one who could be a sneaky one to throw in there.
Well, Rashawn Johnson's not even going to be sneaky.
No.
What about? Oh, okay. So in Showdown, people are going to play him. But is anybody going to play Allen Robinson in Classic?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I would imagine not.
I'm just asking.
Cowboy ownerships feel very fishy to me. What about Keontae Turpin if they let him actually play a receiver? He put on the greatest move in the history of football.
That was just, you know what? Between that one and the Barkley one this year, those are 2 like legendary moves.
Absolutely. I mean, the Barkley's had like a few this year, but the back hurdle was out of this world.
I know.
And honestly, the worst thing is like some poor kid is gonna try it in a game and absolutely get leveled at some point in his career. It's gonna happen in the future. And unfortunately, he created a monster. Oh, there's Goldie. Everybody's up in here. Good to see everybody. Looks gross, but Zeke Thanksgiving. Okay, yeah, you're right. Look, we're looking for kind of gross plays on a small slate like this, so I don't mind like a gross play. Nobody should insult anybody else for playing anything today.
Is anybody playing Raheem Mostert?
That's an interesting one. I don't think that's going to happen at all. He's looked, these narratives about guys being dusty or whatever. I kind of like that idea a little bit with the Mostert. I could definitely get behind that idea.
Because I'm thinking like well out into the future, right? So it's like late in the night and like everybody thinks that they're home free, and then who comes out and just destroys people? Like
that could be one.
Like is like Alec Ingold, or somebody like that.
I like the Mostert idea a little better.
No, you could probably do a little better than Alec Ingold, but Alec Ingold's got maybe not Alec Ingold. Like who's the people are going to play not Durham Smythe, Jonnu Smith, right? So Does Durham Smythe get anything? Now, I'm just projecting. You visualize it, right?
Yeah.
So you tell me these Green Bay guys are out, right? So we think it's going to be Watson. Anybody going to play Malik Heath?
Let's see. Where did I end up with Heath?
He had two receptions last week and a touchdown.
I have like 1% of it.
Okay.
And I've got the Melton. Let's see. Yeah, I think it makes sense to be overweight. Look, I'm underweight that game in general, but being overweight the low-owned receivers is probably the right way to play it. I think Bo Melton would be my favorite, but I could get talked into some Heath.
How about the fact that Josh Jacobs is banged up,
right?
And that we play Emmanuel Wilson. I'm just literally just spewing right now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, look, this is what some of these things are. And by the way, everybody in chat, don't get all like, oh, this is the thing. I'm never doing this. I'm never doing this. It's a 3-game slate. You going and playing Drew Lock to Malik Neighbors is there's nothing fancy about that. There's like almost no way you're winning with you if you think that's the way to build a core. Okay. I think you have to just get way off the board today. Oh, here's the one, Cheats. I got the answer for who's going to win all the money.
Chris Brooks?
Jameson Williams.
Well, sure.
He's like projected to be like 4% owned.
No way. Really?
Yeah. Let's see. What do you have him at? You've got him a little bit higher. You've got him at 9.
It's funny the way the industry works. I like for the last couple of days, I've been watching some stuff, and the I won't say the fake sharp play, but it seems as though the real over-owned team might be Chicago at the end of the day.
No, it was my sneaky thing that turned into the most popular thing.
Exactly.
Hate that.
Now, if you're going to do that, Adunze, all these guys are so freaking cheap, dude. Moore, Allen, Adunze.
The Adunze, though,
no
is not
way that this guy plays. No, okay. Gerald Everett's not playing. I mean, he might play, but.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, you mentioned that. What about no? Travis Homer is active. No. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
Trying to think of anything.
Miami guys we already talked about. Jay Wright.
That's one you could consider because Mostert is officially the third stringer. So if you're going to play some Mostert, may as well play a little bit of Wright.
Beckham, he can score a touchdown, but whatever.
Yeah, he's not going to put up a big game or anything.
This guy could actually. Okay, so this Malik Washington is not bad. They ran, but they carved a play up for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They gave him like a reverse.
Yeah.
In that Rams game.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, definitely showdown worthy, and it's definitely late swap worthy. Like if you come back from Thanksgiving or whatever, and you're like, oh, great, it's it's gonna, and all you have is like A-Chain and somebody else, whatever. Then you could switch off to that to something stupid.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a breakfast thing in about 20 minutes. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm good, man. We've literally mentioned every person that's playing. But I do think that this is a Saber Sim type slate. I think that you should be messing with settings and just kind of just almost not looking at who you have and whatever it is. Every defense is in play. I also think that you should, what you can do? I don't know if it's defaulted this way, but if it is defaulted, I think there's no problem with playing defenses against quarterbacks today on 3-game slates.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Well, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I hope everyone else out there does as well. And good luck today, guys. And don't forget to late swap if you're able to.
Okay.